There we are, it's working. Nice. So recording, the recording will be kept unlisted, and you can request to see it if you need to recap on anything or if you fall offline. Otherwise, we are all here. We've got our gallery view setting. If you don't see all of us in little boxes, just go to the top right and click either speaker view or gallery view, and you'll get everybody on screen at once. I'm going to unmute you now, Rachel. Oh, and here's Kim.
Oh, there she is.
Hello, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hello. Sorry.
Young you.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
I just had a technical issue, sorry.
That's okay. We all have them on the first night. So just one more time in case anybody missed it. Where's the gallery view? Top right of the screen. Click that button. You'll get the gallery view. If you can see all of us in little boxes, you're in the right place.
Oh, wow, so many more people. Hi.
Yeah. Down to the bottom left, you have a mute button. You have the power to mute yourself, although we tend to ask you to keep unmuted so that we can get to know each other as close to a live room as possible. But if there's lots of noise in the background, Hadaya can also have the power to mute you. She's our wonderful TA. So Hadaya is our teaching assistant. Corey is here as a student, but he's also going to be our technical assistant because I decided to throw him on the hot seat because I know he knows his way around Zoom really, really well. So, welcome to TAPS 1, Class 1. I'm your instructor. I'm not going to do any more introductions yet, and there's a jolly good reason for that. There's something way more important than introductions when we're running therapeutic groups, and that is all about confidentiality and setting up a safe space. So I'm going to bring up some slides so you can see those as well, but they're available also on Moodle. Did you all have a chance to see Moodle and get the hang of it?
Yeah.
Does anybody think Moodle is a monster or Moodle is a friend?
In between.
In between. It's about the same for all of us here too. So in this class, we're really going to go through just some introductions, the meet and greet, then we'll talk about the difference between art and art. And then we'll go into what the difference is between therapeutic arts and art therapy. And tonight will be just a general introduction to all of those aspects so that you really can know where you're going with the course, and over the classes, we will get to know each other better. If I'm going too fast or too slow, let me know. And I do have a tendency to go faster rather than slower, so you can always shout out, stick your hand up, or say, slow it down. If you're really tech savvy, there's a little button in Zoom that has little arrows and little symbols to tell me to slow down, but I probably won't see them. So let's get started on confidentiality. Now, with any group, and I would say whether it's therapeutic arts group or any other group that you're involved in, the most important piece is making sure that people feel safe enough to be there. It's hard to do that sometimes when we're on a live online setting or even in an actual physical classroom. So how do we do it? There's many, many ways, and in TAPS 3 you'll learn more about group dynamics, but I want to make sure here tonight that we have some boundaries set and some comfort zones for all of us as best as we can. As therapeutic practitioners, or TAPers for short, one of the big things that you're going to have to learn is when to know that your client is safe, and what to know, where to refer somebody onto if you feel it's out of your realm or that a client isn't safe. Now, you are not art therapists. I'm going to assume everybody's the same. Some of you may be qualified therapists, but for this purpose, these classes, you're not. You're therapeutic arts practitioners. And so you don't have the same rules to report if there's an incident that's shared with you. However, I feel as human beings And as people working with other people, especially when they're coming to you for guidance, so we consider that vulnerable population because they're coming to you, is then it's really important to make sure we know what our boundaries are and what their boundaries are. Confidentiality can be straightforward. It can be simply this environment here, and we're in a teaching environment, not a therapeutic environment, but things may come up for you and you may feel triggered by different stories that are shared or artworks or topics that we talk about. You may feel emotional at times, and that's okay. You can let the group know, or you can take some deep breaths and contact us afterwards and we'll support you through. However, we are in an educational setting, so the goal is if you start to feel like you're going into a space where you need therapy, then do what you can and the tricks that you have learned to regulate yourself, to bring yourself back to be safe for the time being, and then seek out professional help. Confidentiality and safety in any therapeutic group should ride on 4 main rules. But of course, there's no such thing as black and white when we're talking about confidentiality. Generally speaking, this space and the space that you create with your client should be 100% confidential. But there is always a big but to that. And the but is simply this. We hold everything that happens in a space confidential, except someone is hurting you, you are hurting someone, you are hurting yourself, or you've given permission to share what has been said or expressed in the session. So here in an educational setting, you know that it's already being recorded. Other people may see it, but we try to minimize what's seen. And other instructors will see it as they learn to teach this course. We have to trust each other that the stories shared within this classroom don't then go on to be told to the neighbor and the friend and so on. So if you do want to share about the class, obviously all of you are going to want to run to the nearest person and say, it was fantastic, you should sign up. But you're not going to say, oh, you know, Hadaya told this story about her brother and this and that. And that. No, you can say, we talked in general terms about therapeutic arts and art therapy. And the most important thing we learned was confidentiality. That's the Coles notes on confidentiality.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Everybody still here?
Yep.
Okay. I heard a, what happened?
Yeah, I lost you, but you're there.
Ah, you may want to close down any other applications you have running at the same time.
Maybe I touched my mouse, something like that.
Mice always
Okay.
do that. That's okay. So let's talk about confidentiality first. We want to look at what it's like. I'm just going to mute somebody's mic. There we are. So we want to just think about in terms of what do we want as a group to be confidential. Obviously, we have those 4 key areas, and we'll learn over the next few months that those are not as easily to maintain or as straightforward as they look like. But in a group, we also want to see what's important for you to feel safe in this environment. So when you think about feeling safe here tonight, we've got our headsets on, so nobody else can overhear. Or we've got our door closed and we're in a private space, so nobody else can hear. Nobody else should be able to see your screen either when people are sharing their artwork. What else might you want to add to that to feel safe and secure tonight? What would make you feel really comfortable, other than switching off the cameras and hanging up? So just fire out anything that comes to mind, and we'll all just accept it without judgment.
Not sharing on social media.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Do we all agree we're not going to share what happened tonight on social media?
Yeah.
Give a big thumbs up. Yay! Perfect. We got that one set. What else? Go ahead, Corey.
Sharing any of the materials that are going to be present in the course.
Right. So any of the slides or any of that thing sounds good to me. We're going to keep to not sharing any of the materials that's here tonight. Thumbs up. Give us a yay. Yay. Perfect. Nice. What else?
Can be tricky when you've got little ones at home and you want the quiet space and you hope and pray they don't barge in.
Yeah, that's true. So trying to keep anybody out, even if they're really little and need you, or you can hear it, you can send a message, or you can just mute or close your camera. If you're on a laptop, you can close it down. And if they're really little, we're probably not breaking confidentiality, but it may be disruptive or triggering for somebody in the class. So sometimes there are triggers. So if there's people who don't have little people in their life and want them, that can be quite hard when they're in a therapeutic group and they show up. Perfect. So if we've got little people coming in or animals or anything else coming in, we're going to do our best to hide the screen and create a safe space. Sound good? Look at you. Fabulous. All right. We're assuming, Rachel, you're giving us the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? And there might not be anything else. I've got a couple because we've experienced this in previous classes. One, revealing too much. And we're happy to, of course, reveal what you need to in a setting that's suitable, but we wouldn't want you to reveal too much, too deep. So you're going to regulate your emotions. So not revealing too much about personal traumas. And you can refer to them, but not go into them or overshare. And for purposes of everybody, no drinking of alcohol and no smoking during the classroom, just like we would be in a regular classroom. Sound good on those ones? You'll have to give us a thumbs up for those.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Anything else? If you think of anything afterwards, we can add it to the list. Now, in your own therapeutic group, and we'll find out over the weeks who your group is and who your clients wish to be. But generally speaking, there's different ways that you can set up the confidentiality agreement. If it's adults, something like the poster that I had in front of you on the slide works very, very well. But if it's younger people, or even if it's adults that want to add more to it, having a big space, a big board where people can add their different things, always as a facilitator have something ready you're going to add, because obviously you're here to learn, so you're more eager to share. Some people aren't comfortable with it, so making sure that you place things there. And you can have some common ones pre-written out or pre-drawn out from other groups you've run, and you can just go up and stick those up. You can even have a selection of cards from other people and hand them around, and they can choose ones that they think would be beneficial to them. Obviously, you're going to adapt this to the age, stage, and abilities of your clients. So when it's little tiny people, like Adaya says, that may come in, when you're working with little tiny people, you can have them put paint on their hands and go up and leave their handprint or their thumbprints as their signatures, or write their names, or draw a symbol that's just theirs. Sometimes you can also find really great Post-it notes of all different shapes, and you can have them go and take those, put their messages on, or you can help them put messages on, and they're going to stick it up. Then every week, you can bring out that confidentiality agreement if you need to, put it on the wall if you're running a group. If you're running individual sessions, you can have that posted on your wall at all times. Or you might need to bring it out to remind people. So if you feel that there's going to be some sharing you're concerned about, or you're realizing your client is needing more professional help than you can provide, you can gently remind them the confidentiality and then make an agreement with them to share with somebody more qualified than yourself as needed. Make sense so far? On an online platform, one of the easiest things is do the thumbs up, do the yay. Everybody is as loud as me, so thumbs up works. Also, if you get really comfortable with Zoom, there's a shared whiteboard, and you can have people draw on it together, sign on it together, and then it saves it as a PNG or a JPEG for you, so you'd have an image of the confidentiality agreement as well. Confidentiality around this, and we're almost to the end of it. Do not fear, we're nearly there. And of course, you can drink tea. It's only alcohol I asked you not to drink. So the other things are confidentiality around the artwork. It might be new for some of you, and as Anita said, no sharing on social media. But for a lot of people, we're not familiar with the artwork as being a precious item in a therapeutic sense. We think of it as precious when it's on the wall or in the gallery, but when I like to think of anybody's artwork, even if they've done a little scribble or torn up a piece, I check, do you want to keep the pieces? And they choose to put them in my wicker basket or to have them kept. Because if we think about it, whatever marks we make are the same as hit and record on a talk therapy session. So the mark making, call it art, call it mark making, that is a recording of the therapeutic session. So we're going to keep it very precious. And as tempting as it is, especially when you're working with kids, to get pictures and post it on social media, or to use your client's art in your promotional material, we asked you not to. You are not bound by any codes of ethics because you're a therapeutic practitioner and not an art therapist. However, we do request that you respect those boundaries and not share pictures of your clients or pictures of your client's artwork. If you really need to share it because it's a great promotional piece, then make it yourself. Art it out. Any questions on confidentiality so far? Oh, you're making my life way too easy. In an ideal world, you don't do therapeutic arts with anybody you know. Realistically, though, you will probably start with friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, and if you live in a small community, you might always be working with people you know, or at least see in the grocery store. But in an ideal world, keeping some distance between it, even though they're not going into deep therapy with you, it's better if you can have that distance between yourself and your clients, but not always possible. Oh. Is that a question for me, Corey? Okay, I think it went the wrong place then. Okay. All right, he's just there to test me. See, how can I look all over the place and still get through it? Okay, so let's move on from confidentiality to the more fun part. You can see hopefully why that's more important than getting to know each other, but now it's time to get to know each other. So we've all agreed to create as safe space as possible. We've all done the signature thumbs up. So now let's find out who we are and share anything you like about yourself. We've got about a minute per person, which doesn't seem long, but it can get long. So the way we're going to introduce ourselves is you've all been asked to bring a little object that is your way of introducing yourself. So what I'd like you to do is when you're ready, you're going to hold up your image and it will take a while to focus. Mine as an example. When I'm holding up my object, you can mouse over my picture. When you mouse over my picture, there'll be 3 little dots. When you click those 3 little dots, oh, you're back there, Sarah. So mouse over my picture, find 3 little dots. Everybody got 3 dots? Yay. Click on 3 dots and then go down to pin video. And suddenly, I'm the biggest. Okay. Then when you're fed up with seeing me, you can click unpin video, which is on the top left, or go back to, oh, Natalie, you can't see it? You have to unmute, my dear. Oh, Janine, you can't see it. Let's unmute you.
You have muted me. It was.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
You couldn't see.
I could see the bird, but I could not see the 3 dots you're talking about.
Ah, but was I the biggest on the screen?
No.
Oh, got some feedback here. So for those of you who, give me the thumbs down if you couldn't find your 3 dots. 3 of you, perfect. So let's try it now. We're going to choose Hadaya. So mouse over Hadaya's picture. Wiggle your mouse around her face. And to the top right of her picture, it should pop up with 3 little tiny dots in the top right-hand corner. See that?
No, I cannot see.
Are you on an iPad?
I am on a Mac.
You're on a Mac. Well, a Mac should be showing you. Janine, no?
No.
No.
Injin? No? And what are you seeing on your screen? Are you seeing everybody small?
Yep.
Okay, and when you mouse over or use your trackpad, are you all on Mac?
No.
I see it. Okay. Well, so for me it wasn't 3 dots, it was a paperclip. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Rebecca. Do you have a paperclip?
Oh,
No.
sorry.
No.
That's a first timer.
Oh, you're on pin video. That works too. So do you have a little push pin?
No.
Well, we'll look at it later. We'll send you the how-to videos again. But what you should have, if you're not on an iPad, is you should have, if you're in gallery view, you mouse over and your little dots or a paperclip press pin will come up. You click on it and it makes that person really big. You could click on speaker view, but you see, because I talk a lot, and if Rebecca's holding up her piece and I'm talking, you'll see me, not her. But don't worry, tonight's all about getting the hang of Zoom. So when we go around, you'll hold your piece up, everybody go, ooh, and then you will tell us who you are based on this little object. Ready for it? Okay, so let me test my geography. This is going to be terrible. The furthest away, I believe it is Samita. And if I'm pronouncing your names wrong, just tell me.
Yeah, it's pronounced correctly.
Hey, not bad. Okay, I will pin her video so that we'll see it in the recording, but you have to pin your own to see her up close. Are you ready? Samita.
Yep, that's mine.
Ooh, come along with me. Ooh. Are there 2 butterflies there?
Yeah, they are. These are actually my favorite earrings that I normally wear it all the time, especially when I go to work. There are 2 reasons for this. One is I feel that I'm going through a massive transformation. The small butterfly signifies me, and the bigger one is my dad. So I feel like my dad is with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Really nice.
cool. Thank you. And where are you?
I'm from Malaysia.
And you're there right now?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks goodness for internet.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we don't all have to remember them, but because everything we do in these classes is modeling what you would do with a client, we are going to just allow the information we've just been told to go into our mind. We're not going to hold on to it so tight it becomes our story. It's not our story. So we're just going to hear it and see what did we pick up on that. So I'm going to start us off with these things because you'll have to learn what to say and what not to say. So what I picked up on is there were 2 butterflies. Now, ideally, I wouldn't have said, oh, are they butterflies? I would have said, tell me more about it. But I saw butterflies, and she said, one is me, the smaller one, and one is my dad. Right? It could have been the other way around, and then it tells us a different story. I am the bigger butterfly, and my dad is the smaller butterfly. Now, for me, that's all I need to remember from that one thing that my client from Malaysia has just told me. So I put it in the filing cabinet at the back. She may never bring up her dad ever again. She may not be coming to me to talk to her about a dad, but I already know that her dad is close enough to her, or her dad as in this transformational phase, which she also said transformation. In this transformational phase, her and her dad are close in this concept, and you also heard she wears them normally every day. Okay? Or did you say you don't wear them every day?
I wear them every day.
That's what I thought. So you wear them every day. myself, the smaller one, my dad, the bigger one. It's a transformational time for me. And then Malaysia and Samita. That part almost doesn't matter, right? When we're thinking of a client. So thank you. You're off the hot seat. So if you did get to pin a video, now you can go to gallery view, or when you pin the next person's, it will show up. I think, Adai, you may have to help me out here in enrollment. Our next furthest away person.
I'm wondering if it's Kim.
Jun Kim?
Yeah, she's gonna have to tell us how to pronounce her name.
Yeah, you can call me Kim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, easily.
Right. Now I remember why. Okay. So what object do you have to show us?
I got this one. Can you see what it is?
Yeah.
Yes, it's Pinocchio. Yes. It's audible actually, so you can hear the music. And the reason I just chose this one is that it depicts me very well. I love to sit just like this and look up the sky and just to contemplate for a bit. Yes, that's my favorite thing. So I just pick it up. And another thing, so here it is.
Oh.
Yes, just I love lying just on the couch and just drinking some beer sometimes. So that is also one of me. So that is why I just.
Nice.
Perfect. And where are you calling in from?
I'm from South Korea and I'm at home right now.
Nice. So we've got Korea and Malaysia. Thank you. So what did we hear from Kim? Just the key things. Don't try and diagnose or say why and what it might mean, but what are the key things we heard? Everybody's like, not me, not me.
She likes to sit and think. She likes to contemplate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. She likes to sit and think, drink beer. She likes to relax and contemplate. Yeah. What else? It's early days, don't worry. So it played music. So one of the things that she brought music into it is we know that auditory is important to her. It may be her primary way of learning, it might not, but there's something about it. Now, for the rest of us, when you saw Pinocchio, what was the first thing that came to mind? And we're not saying it is Kim. What came to mind?
Large nose.
Yes, large nose. Good.
Telling stories.
Yeah, so this is
Real?
pardon, Rebecca?
The desire to be real?
Yes, excellent. So first level is our mind immediately sees something that's familiar and we go, oh, Pinocchio's nose grew when he lied. Or we told stories. So it's hard not to then say, to have that in mind when a client shows you that or chooses that piece. To her, it had nothing to do with that. It had Harry was sitting, that he's contemplating and he's relaxing, right? The deeper level is the desire to be real. So maybe Kim's looking for more authenticity in her life, depending if she lives with in a job where she can't be a true self 100% of the time or something like that. So be aware of what comes to mind when we see an object that is familiar to us. Like, what does a butterfly mean to you? Then hold it back. That might not mean the same to a client. Pinocchio means to you. Keep it in mind, but it may not be what it means to the client. All right, good job. 2 down. Who's next across the world? Help me out, Hadaya.
Oh. Yeah.
I should have had my list with me. Okay, who's next across the world? Who's the furthest away? We've got Korea, South Korea, we've got Malaysia. Who else is outside of Canada? All right, who's on the east coast of Canada? No. East. Joanne. East. Yes. Both Joannes. Joanne and Joanne. Yeah. Joanne MacD. G.
G?
Yeah, MacG. Show us your object and Where are you from?
So for me,
Yeah.
so I am from Nova Scotia,
Ah,
in the Maritimes, the east coast of Canada.
nice.
And this is my object.
Ooh, ooh, we forgot the ooh on Pinocchio. Ooh. Okay. And tell us a little bit about, oh, I see some writing on there, do I?
It does have writing. So when I was trying to find an object, I was looking for something that I thought, I guess it was represented me. And this is a little, it's actually, I think, a keychain is what it really is, but it's pewter, has a feather, and it says, be a little wild. And when I have a friend, and she was going through a rough time, and I was looking for something just to sort of give her when I went to visit her. And so I saw these cute little keychains, and I picked a different one for her. But when I saw this one, I thought I'd like to have that for myself. So I bought it, and it's in my bathroom, so I see it all the time. And it just sort of reminds me, oh, I guess maybe I shouldn't say why I picked it. I don't know.
You can say a little bit. Oh, do you want them to see what they think first?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, let's put them on the hot seat. We don't want to make this course too easy on them. All right, for our lovely East Coaster, Joanne, what did we hear about Joanne? Key things. And you remember, you're all different practitioners, so you may all pick up on something different. Just fire them out.
Kind of value of having a little wild side.
The value of living on the wild side.
Just a tiny bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What else?
Maybe the want to be something a little different.
The desire to be, the want to be something a little different. Okay. What else?
The desire to help somebody else because she gave another thing to another person.
Yeah. Yeah. She bought something for somebody else. There's another key bit to that.
Feel the connection with someone else.
Connection with somebody else too. And she bought something for herself. So there's a level of self-care. It's something she sees every day. So she wants this is important to her. It's not something she put on the shelf, forgot about until class, and she was like, oh, there's that thing. It was, she hangs it in a bathroom to see every day. So this message, if it's the message that's important that she sees. So let's ask, Joanne, is it the message you want to see every day?
It's the message.
All right. Who's got a big truck going by?
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. I'll keep my mic muted.
No, you're good. I just thought it was coming in here. So it was the message?
Although I think I was attracted to it's very nice to touch, very smooth, and it has the feather. So I think it was a package, but I definitely was attracted to the message.
So there's another key thing. What do we know about our new client now?
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic. Yeah, she loves tactile. She likes the feel of it, and she's noticing probably the different temperature and texture between the pewter, which is a soft metal. She didn't just say it was metal, it was pewter. It's an older metal, and a feather there. So what, did we miss anything, Joanne?
No, I think that's good.
Not bad for starters. Look at us all. Lovely little tappers. We're all going to be just spot on. All right, thank you. On the East Coast, so it's getting late for you, but not as late as Kim and Sumita. Okay, so we'll speed things up. I'm just going to go now to, well, who's next across the East Coast? Joanne. And is it Joanne?
I'm in Quebec.
Quebec, that's pretty far east. All right. So let's see your object.
That's it. That's a small Tibetan bowl. And I pick it because it's small like me. And it's in my bedroom. I use it. I'm a yoga teacher, so I use it often. And if you really know how to use it, you will hear it and feel it.
Key things. And how am I pronouncing your name? Joanne?
Yes.
Thank goodness for my staff. They help this British girl figure it all out. Okay. So, what did we hear there? Fire away. Fast, fast, fast.
Loves to touch.
Likes to touch. Yeah.
Auditory.
Auditory. Excellent.
Very sensitive to touch. If yeah, to use those correctly, the vibrations are really nice.
Yeah, so sensitive to touch and the body connection. The thing, the body, vibrations. Excellent.
It is self-care and soothing as well.
Self-care and soothing, yeah. What is one key thing we learned about her that we didn't know before, other than all those wonderful things? She told us a bit about her career.
Yoga teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah. I'm so proud already. We can graduate now. Excellent. Great. Thank you. So we've moved from Nova Scotia to Quebec. Who's next? Okay. Perfect timing. Well, I know Shannon is in my own town.
Yeah.
I know Sarah's in Grand Forks. Janine, Natalie, Rachel, where are you guys?
I am in Calgary.
I'm in British Columbia.
All right. Janine.
I'm in Burnaby, BC.
Okay. Rebecca.
I'm in Edmonton.
And Yemi.
Calgary.
I think it's you, Natalie. And if I've got that wrong,
Sure. I don't know if you will see it very well.
yeah,
I'm trying.
in our videos.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, IAT, one of my precious places.
And then you can see the top here.
Oh. Okay, introduce yourself with that object.
So I'm an international development worker. I've been traveling to several countries so far to work with people who require my skills. And I've stopped to travel to do this class because I think it will enhance my abilities and my skills overseas.
Nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I put it down? Everybody saw it? I can give it.
No, you can put it down. And you can always take a photo of your object later and upload it as well.
Okay.
So, all right, fire away. What did we hear? All our lovely practitioners, we have a new client amongst us.
I felt that she values self-development a lot. That's why she put her job to pause for a bit.
Yeah. So she brought in self-development and she paused this important work for self-development. Yes.
There's a ownership of skill that she has to offer, which that's for those of us who are not that strong in that place. It's nice to hear.
Right. So ownership. So knowing her skill level and don't give this away, Natalie. What is her skill level? What is her skill, I should say?
International development or work with other people that need something that she has to offer.
Exactly, something. So a client hasn't told us what. So straight away we can do a couple of things. We can ask, but if we're asking, are we asking for our curiosity or is it part of helping the client? Most likely, think about it when you reflect on it right now. Do we want to know what her skill is because we're curious or because we think this will help our client? Thumbs up for curiosity.
Definitely.
Yeah, Rachel, I'm thinking you're putting your thumb up too. We all want to hear. Well, I'm gonna test Natalie and ask her not to tell us yet. We're going to find out a different way. So I also want to point out something I did that I wouldn't do with a client, or I would try not to do with a client. I immediately went, oh, Haiti, it's Haiti. I've traveled to Haiti. I've done work in Haiti. So but that's my thing. That's not my client's. It could be that my client has something that they're not comfortable about, or they didn't even know what the word Haiti was. They just had this object they liked. So we call it bracketing. It's like keeping that to ourselves. Not like the old days where we sit behind the couch with our clipboard and go, But we sort of do. We go, I'm really wondering what a skill is. Wow, look, Haiti. Oh, I went to Haiti. Nope, come back here, be with the client, follow what the client needs and what the client's there for. So good so far?
Yep.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Or can I comment on all the answers of the other one, or this is not appropriate?
Nope, you can.
I'm a bit surprised by all the answers. They are very positive, and it's nice to feel how other people feel about my object. My first interest was about the colors, and because it's a bus as well. And I think you got that because I travel a lot, but nobody noticed the colors of the bus. So for me, it was very important.
Yeah, good point. And
I just cannot, I don't know if it's appropriate or not to do it, but I'm just surprised and pleased also by all the answers. Thank you all.
Yeah.
But that is important because as practitioners, we missed an important part. Now, part of that is because I'm pushing time and hopefully we wouldn't have done. How many of you noticed it for the colors? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Interesting. And you see, I got blinders on by the word. I was like, and I caught myself, but not fast enough. So obviously it takes practice no matter how long you've been doing this work. So so our client was able to find her own voice and hang on a minute, the color was really important to me. But many of our clients won't. So they go away with just a little void of, So we're trying to build trust and build rapport, not build friendship, but trust and rapport, so that a client feels heard and understood as best as we can in the time that we have with them. So thank you for pointing out the colors.
You're welcome.
So who's next? Let's go with Janine.
Oh.
Even if you're not next, because my geography is getting worse by the minute.
I don't think I'm so anyway, doesn't matter. This is I don't know if, can you see it?
We've got a lot of white
potato.
Let me see. Yeah. Let me try and change that. Nope. That help?
Oh, now
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a yeah, there maybe.
Yeah.
It's a rock that a friend gave me years ago of a place that we traveled together in England. And I just recently found it again, but I thought it was interesting timing that I found it at the time that I was scheduled to, or that I had signed up to take this class, given that when I was a kid, like 8 or 9, and I used to love collecting rocks and painting rocks, and so I thought it was okay for tonight.
Now it might have been hard to see, but on my big screen I can see that it's an oval-shaped rock. It's got a lot of, it looks to be like a landscape on it. Picking up the light and getting white, but even if you can't quite see it in your own mind's eye for a moment. What's important about what our client shared with us?
The value of friendship.
Yep, value of friendship.
Also like a childhood memory.
Yes, childhood memory. That's key, right? Because clients come to us because of different ages and stages that they're still reflecting on. Yeah.
The rock could signify something.
The rock might signify something, yeah. So we can put into our own mind rocks are solid, they're from earth and so on, but we would look to see what it means to the client and what part of it's important. Yeah. Corey, I think you had a question?
I was just going to say how it would feel in the hand as well. To have something all those years, it's probably very important that it fits nice and it feels good and is long with all the other memories and stuff involved.
Good point. Good point. So again, in the palm, right? Anybody else? Did she know where this thing was? Was it like Joanne's? It's hanging in the bathroom every day.
No, she found it. She recovered it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she found it. She recovered it, and she was pleased that she found it at this time because of the quest for tonight. So it's a memory that's precious, but it's put aside. It's not a message she's seeing every day, but it might change now that she's brought it back out. Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go across my screen, and I hope you're finding this all beneficial. It's a long introduction, but it's worth it because this is exactly the kind of way we want to start getting our minds to think and reflect, and our eyes to see and pick up on, and finding those subtleties. So, Miss Sarah, it's over to you. You'll just have to
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everybody. This is mine. Can you guys see that?
Ooh, see, we know we can see it when we look at ooh.
And I dropped it. Okay, so this is a kind of a quirky shaped heart, and it's an amethyst. I got it as a gift, and I take it everywhere. Sometimes it's in my pocket, sometimes it's in my purse. It represents gratitude for me, but it's also, amethyst itself is healing. It's part of healing, which is also important to me. And the fact that it was a gift is special, and the shape of it I thought was really neat too, because it's just a little bit off, but it still looks like a heart. So it still has a lot of meaning, and it's teeny tiny, so it's easy for me to carry around.
Thank you. All right, fire away.
Sense of security.
Sense of security, good. Yeah.
It's imperfect, but it's still meaningful.
Yeah, imperfect and meaningful. Mm-hmm.
Attachment to the person who gave the gift.
Yeah, and what did we not learn?
Who gave
her the gift?
So, are we all curious, but we're not going to ask?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Great.
It takes a lot to keep something with you every day like that too. To just that shows some attention and value.
Mm-hmm. And my first thought that I had to bracket, other than who, was, what if you lost it?
Oh,
that's mine. Like carrying sight every day, that's important. If it's in the bathroom and I see it every day, well, I can't really lose it. But if it's in my pocket and I lose it, so. And what else did we get?
The symbolism, the heart shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, heart shape symbolism. One other thing that I picked up on, but maybe probably lots and lots of things, including the color and how big it is and so on and so forth. But one other thing that she told us about her beliefs.
The healing aspect of that.
Aspect of stones.
Yes, well done. The healing power of stones. So whether the practitioner or not believes the same thing, it doesn't matter. We know that's key now to the beliefs of a client, and to share their beliefs in your first introductory session means it's important to them. It's a strong belief. So we keep that belief. So later on, when we're working with them, we may have different objects in our own basket of things, and we might be inclined to make sure, for example, that there's a crystal in there, or something along those lines. Perfect. Okay, Sharon, you're next up.
Me? No, Shannon?
Shannon, sorry.
Oh, sorry. This is, I don't know if you can see this little guy. We're in the camera. Oh, yeah, there.
Cool.
He's he's got his little acorns, and he's the bridge kind of seems to go with him. He's on a journey, and maybe for me, I'm kind of moving from a 34-year bodywork practice to reinventing myself a bit, and am looking at TAPS as possible something to add. I have a master's in counseling I haven't ever used, and accepted with my bodywork clients. So I'm on a new adventure.
All right.
I say nothing. Over to you, Tappers.
She's on a
journey.
transformation journey.
Journey. Yeah.
Maybe the symbolism of the bridge is important. Maybe getting over something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else?
Seemed a little bit like you're on an adventure.
On an adventure. Yeah. What else?
Perhaps you have skills that you haven't used yet, so perhaps that's something you want to move towards.
Keep going.
Possibility of travel.
Yeah, she's off next week with Natalie. And it's okay, Natalie, she's got the food with her. Did you notice that? Got 2 there. Carrying it could be heavy. You don't know. Who was surprised it detached? Couple of you. I was straight away, my mind went to it's one piece, and you went, boop. I was like, oh. So that tells me as well that little fella can actually get across the bridge. They're not staying on the bridge or on the fence. They can go back, they can go forwards, they can go anywhere. Nice. Thank you. I think it's over to Corey next.
Great. Hey, I'm Corey. My item is my tongue drum. I have spent my entire life playing percussion, and yeah, I really like the design of it as well. It's steel and aluminum, and it sounds like this.
Cool.
Wow.
So that's my item.
Over to you, Tappers.
Well, percussions is one of his things for sure. He loves music.
Yeah.
He likes intricate details because of the shape and the design on it.
Yeah.
The harmony that that kind of instrument can do, just the tones and the mindfulness and the tuning in.
And his excitement in showing us, actually playing for us, and his energy that came from that.
Elaborate, was that?
Pattern? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, elaborate?
Yeah.
Good, noticing. Very good.
I would also say maybe he's quite a doer, a person in actions, because he played that for us.
Yeah. And so we've got auditory. We've got that same, the feeling back, the body sense. Now, he said music, and we can see there's a guitar or something behind him too. He said percussions. So the difference between all the other music and percussions is what?
Rhythm. Well, no, rhythm is with other things too. So
the big one, contact.
Wow.
Contact of 2 things, or the contact of you with the instrument. There is that energy put in. Well, there's always energy put in, but it's more physical energy put into something. So just we put it in the filing cabinet, and we have that. So we might have objects where he can use that same thing. So if a client's stuck on what to do and you give him a box, it'll be a drum in no time. But if we keep giving flat and non-textual, then you might not get as far. Yeah. And so now we've got a few of you. Oh my gosh, we're all auditory and music. I'm really out of luck here. All right. Thank you. Yumi.
Oh, okay. I got 3 things, so they're just all over my desk. So basically, first thing I have here was, this is from the Calgary Expo. It's nothing over the top. It's nothing anything creative, but it's a good reminder of, in 2011, I was doing some graphic design work, and it allowed me to go to the comic book expo. So, and I had a booth there, and I was able to do some illustrations for some people. And it was just the fact that you're around at the time in 2011. I'm not too sure if you guys were familiar with Star Trek or anything like that, but Leonard Nimoy was there. Quite a few characters that I grew up watching over the years, and it's just that I love to draw, and that just kind of it just came back to me, and I've been drawing ever since. So that's just one piece for the pamphlet. So when I had my booth, I was just walking over for the pass. And then this is what my wife gave to me when we first started dating. This was a canvas. So basically what it says on there, it just says life is a canvas. You throw all the paint on it and you can just go. So,
nice. Can you just hold it up just a tiny bit more? Perfect.
Just a little bit of a reminder from her. So, you know, not just a date, but a wonderful person as her, and, you know, and drawing. And last one, hold on a second. This is going to take a while.
Oh, we lost him.
So
now, we can talk about when a client leaves.
Right over here. Can you guys still hear me? Yes?
Yeah.
Basically, this was an old clock a friend of mine was getting through, was throwing out. And what I did was I just spray painted it and wanted to illustrate. I don't know what I was actually thinking at the time when I drew this, but I just, I wanted to put like mountains, trees, and then I kind of flipped it over and have birds, and then it just became a woman with an afro and trees underneath her. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Well.
All right, because we're nearly to the end, we're going to push it a little bit further, but we're going to still be respectful. We're still going to be careful what we ask, but we're going to push it a little further. So what is the key thing, just one key thing you got from it? The most important thing. If you can only tell me one thing, what was it?
Visual.
Okay.
He likes to draw.
Enthusiasm.
Likes to draw, enthusiasm, visual.
Life's very important to you.
Life's very important.
Drawing. Love of drawing.
Love of drawing. I'm going to tease just a little. And because it's confidential and he's in that room on his own, your wife piece was second.
You're right now, so I don't want to tell her that.
It's okay.
But here's the thing. Hold on, people. It was more so than anything else. Like that's always going to be my first love, believe it or not. She'll always be there. But like the first thing when I was a kid was actually crayons, and then just drawing, and that'll always be first for some reason.
Wonderful. That's quite all right. This is why we wouldn't tease a client, but we might if it was somebody else. Go, but isn't it different if he hadn't included the piece from his wife? Wouldn't have come up, right? It wouldn't have been, but it was quite cute that you bracketed them in there, so that was very good. So we know he's skilled, we know what's important to him, we know that he had this wonderful event in what year?
2011.
2011.
Good tappers. So year isn't important if it's just like last year or something, but the key thing there is that was 8 years ago, and that's how important the memory is. So he's had this memory, he's had this piece for 8 years. That's where we get an idea of the power of what that object means to him. So thank you. Now you're going to have a harder time at the end of class now that you've shown us all three now. You've shown us all your cards.
I'm good.
And you said yummy is how we talk. Perfect. Thank you. Rebecca.
So I chose a charm bracelet to share. And so my husband got me this charm bracelet early in our marriage and added charms to it every birthday, every Valentine's Day. And then I started to get a little bit too full, so we stopped adding to it. But most recently, I added this charm. and it's actually my one of my pets. My cat passed away last year, and it actually has his ashes in it. And it's the same color as his fur, and the blue is the same color as his eyes. So it's my way of keeping him close to me. Yeah, so happy memories in every charm, and I get to keep my boy close to me.
Okay, so there's an area that I wouldn't obviously bring in the husband part then, because we know there's grief. So, okay, tappers?
A lot of memories.
Really important.
Connection. Yeah.
Lots of memories, important connection. Yeah.
To keep things close to her.
Keep things close.
Yeah, keeping those important charms right there.
Yeah, important charms right there.
It is interesting that you think that's full, because there are some charm bracelets that are packed. You get lots more room, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm saving room. I want more significant life events to be represented.
Yeah, and that's a key thing, because otherwise she could get a second bracelet, or she could cram them in. So there's a reason for her that it's not just filling up. Anything else? Kim, have we lost you? Your camera's gone off.
Oh.
There you are. Perfect. I mean, Rachel's is off, but she's allowed to be off tonight. Although, Rachel, how are we going to see your object?
I don't know.
Okay, I have an idea.
So she can post it on the forum.
That's true. She can post it on the forum. But before we move on to Rachel and Hadaya, I just want to say that when your client is bringing something, whether it's an object or their story or their reason for coming to you, and there's grief in there, then of course we work with that grief as and when the client wants to. It's not our place to think, oh, that's what they're here for and that's what they're going to work on. It could be that Rebecca is already working on it by having this precious item, but we know about her cat, and that is an important piece to keep, that the cat that has been lost is important enough and is still with her today. So sometimes perhaps if she's anxious or unsure, is we may bring her back to that time and holding on to that pendant, or to reflect on it in such a beautiful way. Thank you. So Rachel, I would like you to describe to us your item.
Okay, so I have like a really tiny, like a fake typewriter. It's like a little trinket almost. Yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it. It's really small. It's like half of a thumb size, I guess. And I keep it on my desk. It's something that I found just like in a little souvenir shop when I was on a trip this summer, and it's important to me because I like to write a lot, so the typewriter like symbolizes that.
And what is it made of?
Just metal.
Okay, so is there any color to it?
There's a bit of like where the paper would be on the top, it says PS I love you, and it's in red.
Thank you. Can everybody see it in their mind's eye? So just feel it in your hands. Small.
And you can feel all the buttons and all the detail on it as well.
Is there any weight to it?
A little bit, yeah. For how small it is, it's a little bit heavy.
So far away, what are the key things?
Loves to travel.
She likes to write.
They're really stalwart in their writing ability. It's a little metal typewriter.
Yeah.
Kind of a culmination of, she said she loves to write, and it says P.S. I love you. And when she first described it, I thought, a budding writer.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a typewriter as opposed to a pen or a tablet or something more modern.
Good point.
I was just wondering if there's a connection between her writing and her travels. Does she travels and write, or does she writes about her travels?
Yeah, don't tell us, Rachel. And is that for our curiosity or because we think it's about our client?
Curiosity.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but you'll know in yourself whether it's a key thing we have to ask or whether it's, so if Rebecca, for example, said there were ashes in her charm but didn't say who, then we might at some point, invite her, or when she's looking at family, we may be expecting it to come up of who that might be. So it's a bit of curiosity, but it may help if we see she's coming because of grief over and over again, but we don't know who, then we could say, would you like to share a little bit about it, your loss, and tell us about your loss, kind of thing. But as practitioners, we're not going to go into deep therapy, so we'll talk about that later. But so where Rachel, it's true, maybe a little iPad souvenir wouldn't have the same feeling as a nostalgic typewriter, even though, Rachel, do you write on your typewriter?
No, but I've always wanted one.
Ah, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. So, Hadaya.
Yes. So I've had a whole bunch of things here, but I decided to choose this one tonight because this is a reminder to be mindful. I wear different hats. Some of you already know I'm part of the enrollment team at Sept. I'm also in the diploma program, so I'm also a student and a mom. And this is a reminder to stop and pause and enjoy the moment. And it's right here on my desk.
Thank you. Tappers?
Loves life.
Loves life.
She is a busy person.
Yes.
Multitasking. You need a few more arms.
She needs reminder to be mindful all the time as much as possible.
Thank you. That was the one on me. It's like, yes, busy bee, but it's on her desk as a reminder to, Anything else? For the essence of time, we'll move on. Here is my little one. And if you like, I won't speak Irish just for this. There we are. It's a little hummingbird. And I have the hummingbirds. So I love hummingbirds. I just think they are so amazing. And I have been fortunate enough to film a hummingbird nest from eggs right through to hatching and fledging. And I photograph hummingbirds as much as I can, and I try and get all the hummingbirds in the area to come to my garden. So I have so many hummingbird feeders, but I can only get one at a time. And my husband bought this for me recently on a trip to England because I sent him to the Silver Vaults in London. He had never heard of them or seen them before. And he went in and he come out. Curiously, I haven't actually worn it as a brooch, but it's so me. The folks who know me, I fly around as fast as a hummingbird. And if you don't give me enough sugar, I just crash. And the only time I do stop is to get nourishment or smell the roses. So it's pretty much a little anise hummingbird. So that's it. Tappers?
Very busy.
Yeah. And that's just the image of just my experience with you, how much you've done. It's like you're there and you're flittering around. Beautiful.
Now, for those of you who know me, notice within yourself how different it is to comment when you know the person. Now notice within you, it says up there, Caroline Webster, instructor. I don't really need that word up there, but you knew I was. How different it is knowing I'm the instructor.
Changes the
Intimidated?
Changes the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what your clients are feeling when they come in, that you are the instructor, they are the client. You are the practitioner, they are the client. You're the teacher, they're the student. So no matter how much they may be older than you, younger than you, may have lived a different life to you, but there's always going to be this pull of them and us. And as much as we like to mitigate it in therapeutic sessions, we have to validate that it is there and it will always be there. It will come closer occasionally, but it will always be there. And we don't want it so close that we've lost that trust that you are the practitioner and I'm coming for guidance. Or in terms of the art therapists in the room, you are the therapist, I'm the client. Because if it's the other way around, why would the client be coming to support you? It's not about status. It's more about trust and hoping that the practitioner has more to offer than they've found for themselves. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Except the little hummingbird goes really fast. So hopefully that gives you an idea of a few things. One, of what we need to listen to, what we put in the filing cabinet for later, because rarely will you have a client that says, oh, this is what I'm here to work on, and they actually are there for working on that and nothing else. How much information you can get from one object, and if the client's bringing it, they're bringing you their history, they're bringing you a trusted piece of themselves, even if they picked it up on the way in the door, or if they pick it up from your basket of found objects or of objects. It's revealing a lot. And one of the reasons it's so important is because it is bringing you and providing you information and without it being intimidating. So all I asked you to do is to bring an object. Now just imagine instead if you were coming and I was doing a formal intake. So give me your name, your date of birth, where you're from, why you're here, what are your hopes and fears for the course, and so on and so on and so on. We would still get a lot of valuable information, but look at the nuggets we got. The other thing that experiment and the introduction showed you, hopefully, is how much of us comes into the asking and the listening and the viewing. If you're a music teacher, Joanne, I'm assuming it's different hearing somebody play music versus me holding up an object. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if it's got something like Haiti written on it and I've experienced Haiti, I'm bringing that part of myself to it. So we're always bracketing. Do I say, oh, are they butterflies? Or do I wait to find out? Tell me more about that. No? If it's an odd shape heart, but they're kept with them all every day, my curiosity of who gave it, right, is, and holding that back for me, that is my curiosity. So we all get to know each other a little better, but at the same time, we get to know very important pieces that we put in the filing cabinet for later, see the power of one object each, recognize bracketing in ourselves, and recognizing when we're brought in and curiosity is there, or we make assumptions. So especially when it's a found object that you have a basket of your own, and we'll talk about this in TAPS too, but if you've got objects here that are meaningful to you and a client picks it up, it's really hard not to just go, oh, that's because blah, 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 but wait. The client may have a completely different thing. So they may pick up the shell, for example, and you're thinking, oh, beautiful golden beaches. And they're thinking, at that time, I had to walk along the beach and there was sand between my toes and the crab bit me and I really didn't like it. Whatever it is. So holding back, not making assumptions, bracketing, and realizing the power of found objects. Make sense so far?
Yeah.
Everybody's still here? Everybody's still awake? Everybody's still got their tea? Oh, not enough tea drinkers. So there's so much we can do with found objects. I find that there's a number of ways to introduce groups, especially when you first start out and you might do a lunch and learn with a group to get them, or if you're bringing therapeutic arts into your workplace, you might ask if the staff can gather and you can do a lunch and learn. And simply by having a basket of found objects around, you can invite people as they come into room, just choose one. You can say, choose two, and they don't even know why. They're choosing it because maybe they like it, they didn't know what it was, they like the feel of it, they like the touch, or, oh, I just didn't care, so I picked it up. Whatever happens, they will find meaning in it. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you a few found objects, and we'll go through this really quickly. And you don't have to say it out loud. I just want you to notice how fast messages, stories, or symbols come to you when you see the object. So just note it for yourself as I switch cameras. That one. Are you ready? Okay. Curiosity, you'll want to know what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at those, give me the thumbs up if straight away it came to you. Something came to you. For at least 3 of them, did you immediately
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
thoughts, feelings, something come up? Anybody go, nothing? Rachel, shout out. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Up. Thumbs up.
So quite happens, and you'll see it all week as your homework. You'll be looking around, and immediately you see something, you've already got a thought about it. For example, what is it? Some of you may be going, oh, that's where they core through rock, or other things. They may be, who painted it? Or it's one of those dot rocks. Something's going to come to you immediately, even if you don't have the words for it, but you're getting a feeling about it. Oh, don't like that. You may even notice, oh, come on, go faster. Too fast, slow it down, I didn't see them. All kinds of things are happening to you in a blink of an eye, if not faster. And that's the power of objects that are around us. So if you have a client that isn't comfortable about creating art or moving material around on the page, you can always bring in objects. So you can have them look around, what is there? And the same with the art supplies on the table. What caught your eye? Because the minute they come in, something has caught their eye. You can work with that as an opener, as a closer, or any point along the sessions. And in Taps 2, we'll talk more about how you can use found objects as a painting tool instead of paint. All good so far? Any questions up until now? Yeah. So found objects, as you can see, have been used in this as an assessment tool, an introductory, a warm-up, an intake, and as a starting point for sharing stories and getting to know each other. Now we have to move into more therapeutics, but don't worry, we are going to be creating some artwork. And I'm keeping a close eye on the time, so if it feels too fast when we go through these next couple of slides, don't worry about it. There's no test in tapping, and you can look at it in a bit more detail afterwards. So let's bring these ones up, and we're going to talk about the difference between art and art. So thankfully, now that I know you all more, I have some interesting things to pick on. So found objects or objects in a basket like this are non-intimidating. Your clients have arrived and they're anxious, they're nervous, even if they know you. they're not sure what to expect, and they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know if people are going to judge me or what's going to happen. Oh, core to therapeutic arts is making sure in that safety, sense of safety in the environment, like the confidentiality agreement, rules, and creating a safe space, is also about having that level of trust. Now you've got to know each other a bit better through the found object or the item. And now we need to see how else can we keep it, the intimidation level low, but the expression high. A lot of people that come to therapeutic arts or art therapy have this sense that they're going to do art. Oh, I'm not very good at art. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure about this and that and the other. And so what we want to make sure is that the clients have a sense of understanding that it's not about the finished product. It's about the process. So if it was about the finished product, then we can see from tonight that it would be a beautiful work of art. It would be this, it would be that, it would be carefully constructed, and we'd be looking at for composition and color theory. Well, when you're here for art class, a little bit like the same that we're not here, one of the downsides of paint night is that you have to go and make a replica of the facilitator's artwork. Well, if we all had to paint the exact same as Yemi's big circular piece there, and we all had to copy that and produce exactly the same before the end of tonight, well, some of us would go home feeling like we're not capable, others would be home disappointed, and others would be going home proud. That's not what therapeutic arts is about. Therapeutic arts is about expressing our own journey, our own experiences from within ourselves outwardly, using objects that are symbolic and materials that we can move around and push around. And this is for every age and stage, no matter whether you're working for babies using yogurt or whether you're working for seniors using felt boards. It's all the same. We're not looking for product, we're looking for process. And it can be very challenging for your clients to understand that and to bracket that desire to make a perfect product. When we think about a product, it takes us into our cognitive mind. It takes us into, a little bit like when we were listening, into the language center, into the structure of it. So when we want to create a piece of art, we often have to think about what materials, what colors, what paints and whatever, and what the end product's going to be like. If we're processing, we're still including a little bit of that cognitive brain by picking up and remembering how to hold a paintbrush and a pencil and so on. But we're allowing our body and our mind to just allow materials to be pushed and pulled around a media so that we can connect with a sense within ourselves, an emotion, a thought, a feeling, and a kinesthetic response. So quite often clients will look at a piece they've finished and go, oh, I don't even know what that is. But that's okay. We have to trust that the process of pushing the material around is actually having a positive impact on their health and well-being. And next week we'll talk about the brain and creativity, and you'll see why that is. So it's not that we only get process with our clients and we only get product with our clients. It really is a continuum. You may have a client that really, really needs to show you what's happening in their life. Or you're working with a client around career transition and they want to do a diagram to see where they are today, where they'd like to be, and break it up into different components around budget and location and timing and outcomes. And then it's more product-based. But generally speaking, our goal as practitioners is to encourage process. And one of the ways we can do that is assuring our clients that it's okay and even preferred to sometimes make ugly art. In fact, I say, you know, the uglier the better. And it could be something along the lines of, Rizzy, I let my clients know that therapeutic arts is a way of getting our soul to express itself, or our inner voice, if that sounds too woo-woo. It's about those times before we had words. It's about those times we still don't have words. There's no vocabulary. There's no language as rich as something other than a sentence structure. Even for Rachel, our beautiful writers, there's still a limit on vocabulary, and we can really dance and play with that to make it more rich. But if you take a second, I'll just give you a second to recall a really precious moment in your life, even if it was really tiny, just one precious moment in your life. Breathe it in, capture that moment. It's already there. Don't argue with it and say, not precious enough. Just let it be there. Got it? Thumbs up if you've got it. And now imagine him writing it out. So just take a minute, put it into words. What comes first? What comes second? Where is it? How is it? Is that a period? Is that a comma? Do I need a semicolon here? Do I emphasize this bit or that bit? Where do I put the expression? But now think of it in color. What colors is it? Where do the colors blend? Where's the intensity? Is it light? Oh, it's really hard. Where are the edges? Does it have edges? Does it go beyond I can reach and beyond I can see? Or is it right there? Can I bring it in close? Can I push it away? Where is it? Does it have a temperature, a texture, a taste, a sound? It's all there rich. That precious moment can come to you more. How many of you saw your precious moment in images first? Who got images first? Who got feelings first? Who got sound first? You'll have to shout at us, Rachel. Who got taste? Smell? Ah, nice. So Natalie got sound and smell, right? Everybody else got images first? Excellent. So it's our senses that provided us that recall of a precious moment long before the language center did. That's what processing is. We tap into those senses and we allow them to start exploring and expressing. Once the client has expressed something, then we can tap into the language center to explore it in more depth and bring it to current day, to where it is now and relevant to where they are in their life so far. Then we bring the language back in. So let's see if that really does work, shall we? So grab a piece of paper, any medium you like. Got a second camera, you can put the second camera on your artwork, or you can dip your laptop screen down. We'll do more of that in the weeks to come. If not, I can look at your beautiful faces while you start to create. Sarah, you might need a light on it soon. Rachel, you got your paper ready?
Yes.
Excellent. Joanne McGee, Nova Scotia Joanne, you seem to have frozen on your camera. If you can hear us, unmute, and there you are. Nope, we lost her. She lost her back. And Kim, you might want to tip your camera down a bit more so we see your paper. Perfect. Fabulous. Wonderful. Okay, Hadai, will you time this for us, please?
Sure.
Everybody ready? Okay, this is extremely important, people. Everything rides on this. The Queen is coming for a visit. No matter where you are in the world, she is coming to visit you. She is coming to a gallery near you, and she is expecting to see a picture of her corgi. So, her little corgi dog. This is what you have to draw. I want you, not yet, hold off, hold that thought. I need you to draw a corgi dog. It is going to be at the National Gallery in your town, and the Queen is coming to visit and to see this work of art. It's very important. And you have 2 minutes to create it. On your marks, get set, go. No pressure, but I think you're running out of time. Keep going.
1 more minute to go.
1 more minute. What will the Queen say? As you finish up, just notice in your body how you feel.
Can you hear me? I'm so sorry. I texted you. I did not hear the instructions. All I heard was something about the Queen.
The Queen is coming to your town in Grand Forks at the National Gallery, and you have to draw her corgi. It will be on display for her.
What's going on? Sorry.
I'll send you a message.
I muted you, Sarah. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
Okay, well, for the rest of you guys, time is almost up.
Well, I thought it was up.
Okay, pens down, folks. Pens down. No cheating.
Oh, I'm glad I had my mic muted while I was doing that because I was laughing way too much.
Sarah, if you can hear us, give us the thumbs up. And Sarah, I think we've lost you. If you can hear us, look at the bottom. There's a message to you. Text her. Oh, look at these pictures of the doggies. Okay, everybody hold them up. I'll get a picture of them. Ready? Hold up your picture. Rachel, yours is looking fabulous.
Thank you.
Ready? Got a picture. All right. So, Sarah, if you can hear us, Joanne, welcome back. So I won't ask you for any feedback on that right now. For those of you who had dropped off, you had 2 minutes to draw a dog, a corgi in particular, because the Queen is coming to visit at a gallery. So just reflect on what you feel. Shake it off for a minute. Grab another piece of paper and other mark making tools. And are you ready? Just take a moment. Deep breath in. Make sure your feet are on the ground. Wiggle your toes. And just move your marks around the page in any way that expresses how you felt about coming to class. How did you feel about coming to class?
time is almost up. And we're done.
Yeah, so just deep breath in, breathe out. Everybody unmute.
I'll unmute.
And hold your piece up, but I'll get a picture of that. Hold it there. Rachel, looking great. Ready? Thank you. I'll put them in the forum later. Good. What did you notice about the difference between the two?
Way easier.
Which one?
The second one, of course.
Yeah.
Well, you say of course, but so for Shannon, the second one was easier, way easier. Who preferred the first one? Thumbs up if you preferred the first one. Janine, Yumi, Kim, and Rachel?
Yeah.
First or second?
I like the first one.
Like the first one. Wow. So 4 people like the first. And how many preferred the second?
Absolutely.
How many just didn't like either?
There were things that I liked about each and things that were uncomfortable about each.
So we all have an assumption of what one we're going to prefer. That's an example of product over process. Some of your clients are going to really want the product, or they're going to want the directive. And the first one, the example I gave, which are extreme examples, I included a directive. I want you to draw a dog. Not even, why don't you create an animal that represents you? Or just create any animal you like. No. I was a dog. It was so specific, it's a corgi dog. And then, so clients might not know what a corgi is, and why does it matter to a client unless they're talking about the queen and her dogs? Many of you may have felt intimidated that the queen was going to come and see your artwork. Others, you like me, I don't care if the queen sees my artwork. But you knew it was going to be in a gallery. So it's product. I want an end product exhibit in a gallery. It's a directive. I want you to do this. Oh, and by the way, you only have 2 minutes. How many of you felt rushed in that 2 minutes? Thumbs up if you felt rushed. How many of you felt rushed on the second one? Yeah. Rachel, first or second? Did you feel rushed?
First.
First. So if you think about it, you actually had less time on the second one. But you might not have noticed it was less time because, and you may have noticed the room went quiet and all there was movement, and your movements were slower for the ones I could see. The first one, product, directive, and timed, fast. Now bear in mind, we tell our clients when the minute they walk in, now's the time to be creative. Sit there and create, and in 45 minutes you can leave again. So we're always put them under that time constraint. And if we want them to be more processed, then we want to not give them so many directives. But if your client needs directives, you have to give them some or they feel lost. It's getting to know the client and understanding product, process. It's never one or the other. It's continuing in between. So quickly, how many of you felt it in a different place in your body from the first one with the dog? Where did you feel it? Point somewhere to your body if you noticed anything in your body. Head, heart. Yay, Rachel.
Heart.
Heart. So head and heart. And the second one, where did you feel it?
Or heart.
Heart. More heart. More heart. Fingers. What about Rachel?
Heart.
Heart. Nobody on the head on the second one?
All right.
A little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit.
Yeah.
So that's where we're moving into implicit memories that we'll talk about later, but shifting from bringing your body and the senses other than the language center. So that's your first introduction to product and process. You'll get to know it more and more as we go through, as well as really tapping into directives or spontaneous, all in one little lesson. How's that? Don't worry if it feels a little rushed tonight, because it's just the introduction to all these concepts that you're going to learn in more detail. The last important thing that we have to teach you tonight, so that you have that concept in mind, is the difference between therapeutic arts and art therapy. I'm only going to touch on it because there is a big difference between the two. If you have a master's in counseling, then it's a little bit different. You move further along the continuum. But for tonight, I'm going to assume you're all practitioners without a degree in psychology, or you're not a medical practitioner working in neurology. So as all my tappers, the biggest difference out of all of it is how you work with a client. The short version is, if you've got clients that come in, either in a group or individually, whether they're little tiny tots or whether they're senior citizens or anybody in between, you're going to be looking at staying surface with them. So I come in and I'm your client and I want to decide whether I'm going to take this diploma in art therapy or not. But, you know, I'm a bit worried. My husband's a bit tight-fisted with his money. We're busy. The dog always needs me. I don't know if I can really travel to the school. It's never just one thing, but they're all in those planning, processing, and you've heard a bit of marriage stuff, you've heard a bit of money stuff, you've heard of dynamics, and you've heard of location stuff. But you can work with me on those, processing through the steps. But then all of a sudden, I go deeper. Something comes up, something's triggered, either a recent event, a current event, or a past event. But you feel that I'm going into an area of grief that I haven't yet worked through with anybody or myself, or I've been triggered with a memory that's come up that, I'd totally forgotten about that. Could have been when I found that rock I haven't had in all those years, that it actually brought back, oh, that. Could be something like that. Those times where you know the emotional need is much greater, and that the healing hasn't reached to a point where it's self-regulated, where your client can simply say, oh yeah, I worked through this, I've worked through that, but you know, there's always layers to do and I'm getting to know myself better, and so on. The minute there's a sign of trauma, or any time you feel that you don't have the ability or what the skill or the knowledge to work with a person in there, you're going to create a sense of safety for them, provide them, see if they need support to get home, if you need to call anyone, or if they have a practitioner that's more advanced than you that you can work with. So you'll have, I prefer everybody to have an actual intake letter as well as the confidentiality agreement. But say, for example, I'm working with Hadaya and she realizes that actually there's some unresolved issues that are bigger than just choosing careers or self-development or along those lines. Then I might suggest to Hadaya that I'm going to keep her safe for now, but I'm going to say, do you have another practitioner you're working with? I feel like I need to refer you to somebody else. We can probably keep working together as well, but I just need to remind you, I'm a therapeutic practitioner. I am not a clinical art therapist. And so this is beyond my scope. It's nothing about you. It's all about my qualifications. Let's see who we can have help us, and maybe we can all work together. So the biggest thing is staying out of trauma areas that are beyond your capabilities. And over the next few months, you'll learn what materials to use when and why to avoid going into deeper emotional trauma with people, and to keep them self-regulating with their emotions, and to making sure that they are A, safe to go home that day, B, safe to be at home. Are they hurting themselves or others? Do you need to report anything? And more importantly, can you assist them? Is it your curiosity? Is it something beyond your capability? Is it safer for them to be referred to a more high-level professional that also is insured and seeing supervisors? Make sense? Mm-hmm. The other part that's different is the level of study. If you stay with TAPS From now until December, you'll graduate with your level 1 therapeutic arts practitioner. If you were looking to do your clinical art therapy diploma, you would be graded, you will be evaluated, you will be nowhere near finished in 2 years from today. You will have up to 700 clinical practicum hours. You will be studying for 2 to 2.5 years minimum, and you will be doing lots more work and all be assessed, assigned, and graded on. You will be under supervision at all times, and you will then pay a little bit higher tuition as well. As tappers, I'm going to help you to understand how you can use therapeutic arts with your clients, whether you're just starting out or whether you've already been using arts with people. I'm going to help you know when to step aside and when to step in. I'm going to show you why therapeutic arts help and how creativity impacts the brain, what parts we're tapping into. You only need to know 3 parts, so don't worry. We'll let you know how to know those 3 parts and what you need to do to sort of activate and close down those different parts. We're going to look at materials, why materials are so important, when to use liquid materials, when to use controlled materials. We'll look at what is it like to work with little kids in a group, little kids individually, couples, groups, maybe you're working in a senior's home, and you will bring your clients to me. And if you don't have them yet, you'll bring your desired clients, and we'll adapt the learning to fit what your hopes and goals are for doing therapeutic arts with all your clients, no matter where in the world you are. That's TAPS 1, Class 1. There is some homework for you to do, but we don't call it homework because we're nice. We call it home play. Everything is on Moodle, and if you're unsure about navigating Moodle, you can ask us or refer to the how-to videos. But your home play is to find 3 more objects around the house. This is where Yemi's going, oh, I should have only shown him 1. 3 more objects. You can find them anywhere or you can create them. An object to represent you in your home, whatever home means to you. You at work, whatever work means to you. And then project forwards. You are a therapeutic practitioner. What object best represents that? Take pictures with your phone or any device that you have. Upload them to Moodle. In fact, there's a little place in Moodle that says create and upload. If you can't find it, you can put it in the forum. And if you need help, you can reach out to us at any time, support@sept.org, or you can reach out to enrollment or click on the live chat on our website and we'll be out there to help you. Otherwise, next week, we move into creativity in the brain. We'll do more artwork and more processing. To wrap up, because I have 5 minutes left, I would like you to come up with a color, a symbol, or a word for our wordies, or a sound that represents how you feel now as your first class is over. Take a minute to think about it, but don't think too hard. Respond to your body. Your body already knows. And then I'll go.
I can go.
Okay, please go ahead.
I think of fire and flames that are just being started.
Fire and flames is just being started. Thank you.
Kind of a bud, a flower with a little bud opening.
Okay, little bud opening up. Okay.
Sort of, for me, maybe a sense of peace. So sort of anxiety at the beginning with the technology and the class, and then sort of a feeling like, okay, this is what I was looking for. Yeah.
And I should add, don't worry about offending me. If it's not a happy thing, I'm brilliant. I can take it.
Actually, similar. I was also thinking peace, and I was thinking blue, like for a blue sky. There's no storm, just peaceful.
Blue skies and peace. Okay.
Much more relaxed.
Good.
Maybe a light blue.
Nice.
Think about a happy face. I'm happy to pick that course and be there tonight.
So happy face.
Nice, happy face. Okay. Yeah.
I go back to my rock theme, but my rock is painted yellow.
Ah, yellow rock. Okay. Rachel, because we can't see you put your hand up or smile or anything, you're on the hot seat.
For me, it's probably like a pastel kind of pink or like an orange because it's warm.
Okay. Yeah. All right, where are we up to? Sarah, you're on the hot seat.
I like the light blue as well. It feels good. And it's kind of like spongy. Absorbing it all.
Spongy. Okay. And Kim?
I just came up with a brown color. In Korea, the fall season started, and it's the season to harvest, maybe.
Oh, nice. Nice. Perfect. So harvest and brown. Okay. And Samita?
Blue, like the blue ocean.
Okay. Blue ocean. Shannon, Corey, Joanne. Yummy.
I was thinking more like tropical colors, turquoise, orange, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca. No, I got Rebecca.
I already.
Yeah, sorry. And Hidayah.
Lavender.
Wow.
Yes, I'm feeling relaxed.
Lavender. And mine's yellow. It's like it's so nice to see you all be so engaged and ready to jump in, and it feels like it's a bright day of learning. So thank you so much. And we have finished on time with 2 minutes to spare. So for some of you, it's a good night. For some of you, it's a good day, good morning. Some of you have a wonderful breakfast, wonderful supper, sleep really well. I'll stay on for 10 more minutes if you have any questions or comments. Rachel, reach out to either support@seat.org or enrollment, and we'll get you set up with the camera. Or you can log back into Zoom and just try and run a class anytime and switch your camera on. But otherwise, let's get you on board. There was another lady that was registered to come tonight. She'll be here next week. She's sorry to say she got held up. She was traveling and she didn't quite reach her destination on time to get online, so she'll be with us next week. But otherwise, we'll be a closed group now for the whole of this module. So have a wonderful day, evening, night, midday, and I'll see you this time next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, Lana.
Doodle. I'm going to stop the